Hey guys, this is going to be a very special video, which I finally have time to do because I was planning on doing this when I got the prototype for the Smoke, Ash and Embers, but that was before Black Friday and, work was a lot. So now I have time, but now there's not a lot of natural light going on, so I had to use my ring light. I know that it's, reflecting back, but I'm going to aim the card. I'm gonna try to show the cards in a way that it's not distracting. And I'm not titling this video as Oak, Ash and Thorn versus Smoke, Ash and Embers because I'm not pitching the decks against each other. They are sister decks. They love each other and they very similar in a lot of ways, but very different obviously in many ways as well. And just in short and in general, for me, even though one of them is a dragon deck, they both give off such a gentle energy that if you think that you can't work with the dragon deck because that's just fire and power and all that jazz, which is in a way, but if you think that that's not for you, then you don't have to worry about it. These are not vicious, stupid animals, and I'm talking about the dragons. These are creatures whose intelligence and power and magic we can't really, comprehend. But they are still here in a form of a little deck. And they are, for me, they are definitely represent the positive side of dragons more, even with some of them who are not as, how to say it, not as well intended or good intended. Is that even a word? No. Like the rest. And there's a slight height difference between the two decks because this is an actual published one and this is just a prototype. And when I got the prototype deck, I was like, wow, I'm gonna have a hard time letting this one go when the real thing arrives, because it's such a good quality already that I was like, I honestly thought that I would have a hard time replacing something that I used for months before getting the published one. But as soon as I took the Oak, Ash and Thorn out of the box and this card was in my hand, I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't wait for this to feel like this, because it's such a smoother experience that I can't wait for this deck to magically transform into a version of this one. And I'm not being an a-hole for keeping these on top of them. Just I thought that while I'm talking about what I want to do in this video, I'd rather not show you cards, because then you're obviously not gonna listen to me. I mean, you're gonna have to stare at the cards. So both decks arrive with these tiny very, very useful keyword cards, or I don't even know what the official ones, the title for them. But I was, there are wait, okay, those are ones. Okay, so there are differences between the keywords. For example, the aces are here in the Smoke, Ash and Embers are offering and curiosity for the Ace of Wands, for example, and for the Smoke, Ash and I'm gonna mix the two names. Jeez. So for the Oak, Ash and Thorn is inspiration and potential for the Wands, and for the Smoke, Ash and Embers it's offering and curiosity. So if you have both decks, you're gonna have two sets of keywords that you can work with, which I think is really cool, not just recycling, so to speak. I mean, which would have been completely fine because these are very good keywords that we get with the Oak, Ash and Thorn, but I'm quite happy that there are new ones. But there's gonna be obviously a digital guidebook as well. So here, and what I'm gonna do is just put the two and two next to each other and just look what the similarities are, what are the differences, and and stuff like that. And it's gonna be messy because for some reason the cards are very slippery. Maybe I should I change them? Yes, let's do that. Let's be professionals here and put the new deck on the right. It was kind of bothering me that this was on the left. Can't explain. You know, older, newer, I guess. So, okay. So first off, the two fools. And hopefully, I mean, on my screen it looks okay. So hopefully it's okay for you too as well. So I really like the little phone. Phone, that's the name. On the Oakish and Thorn, and with the, you know, with the butterfly. Because I kind of got that sense that the butterfly was like, hey, come on, come with me to a journey and an adventure, you know, and the little phone was like, oh, okay, that looks interesting. And, you know, I didn't realize that, you know, all the majors in this deck have black background as well. I just noticed that in the Smokers and Embers for some reason. But I mean, look at that. I like that this card shows much more of the positive potential, but we don't know where the road leads. Because in this one, you know, the little phone is just standing still yet. Of course, this dragon as well. But we don't know, you know, we don't see a road, a path that he's gonna, or she's gonna, or they gonna, whatever, take. But yeah, I like that, you know, it's much more traditional, but at the same time, for me, it's much more meaningful because of that. I think because I can see the potential more clearly. But, you know, like I said, it's not a versus, it's just a, let's look at those two decks next to each other. But there's flowers here, which I really like, even though it's very dark. And there's a snail. Okay, I'm not gonna fan over the dragons because I did that. So these are the backs, and none of them are exactly reversible. If you look at it, you know, at first, I don't think anybody would be bothered by it, you know, the different animals here. I think it's much more reversible than this one, but I don't read reversals currently, so I'm not bothered by that. Just, you know, if it's for you, that's something to keep in mind. And the font is different. This is more of a handwritten font, and these are capitals. And I know Stephanie talked about, you know, that she didn't want the same font, and I think that makes the difference. And I like that these are more squarish. For some reason, it just fits. We have a raven in this one, and a dragon, and there's no black background showing here. But in this one, it's you know, it's obviously visible. But both of, it's quite similar if you look at it, because both of them are, you know, laying all the, okay, my lamp is moving around, which is not good, tools, showing what, you know, that they have everything they need, and they look almost exactly the same. The swords are different, the handles are different, and this one has some green leaves coming out of this. This seems much more like something that's been already, you know, growing, but it could be just, you know, the type of green that was used. Okay, the High Priestess. And I hope that the noises that are coming from under me are not too distracting. But I don't have a lot of time to film these days, so. And I, you know, I finally wanted to do something just for me, in a way. But for you guys as well, hopefully. So look at them. Oh, my High Priestesses. I love that this dragon is pretty much almost the same lilac color than this flower here. Both have, you know, a dark background. I'm not gonna be able to say that word. a frog is, you know, inside my throat. But there are no stars here, which I never even realized. I don't think I ever looked at this card and realized that there were no stars, because we have stars here. And the moon is a different crescent moon. I'm assuming that's just aesthetic, but maybe it means something that I'm not, you know, very well versed in moon cycles. But I'm looking for, you know, because we have the pomegranate here. I think that's pomegranate, but I don't see it here. And this is much more like an autumny forest. But you know, we have both of them have a light source, which couldn't be, you know, knowledge, and they both have the same scroll. And a very similar type of, not crown, but you know, diadem, or what is it called in English that they are wearing, which is cool. Yeah, probably I'm gonna miss a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, both of them are, you know, facing off from each other, which is, it's kind of giving me the feeling of they got each other's back. You know, they are the two empresses, they take care of each other, which is kind of cool. And the very similar stuff. This dragon doesn't really wear anything, but we have similar, you know, we have a similar scene, taking care of young ones. And ivy, which is cool. In the hidden part of the forest. Again, no stars. I think that's why I'm guessing now that maybe that's why I realized that there was a dark sky behind the dragons, because there were stars that drew my eyes much more than on these ones, because on this Empress I'm immediately looking at the animal, you know. In this one I'm like, okay, but stars. I'm not sure, you know, it was intentional or it just happened like that. It could be, you know, different stages of the night. This is more of the beginning of the night, and this one is more already well into the night. But we, you know, there's a road leading from here. They are pretty much they're giving me a feeling that they are protecting their kingdom. You know, they are standing around, which I never realized before, because I was like, why is this you know, dragon so on a more fiery, you know, it has a more fiery stance. And I was like, I didn't really see why, but now seeing the two together, it kind of gives me that protector feeling, that you're not gonna get through me, which I really like. And they both have the orb as well. And obviously the Oak, Ash and Thorn has a more autumny feeling, just by the name, I guess. Again, no stars. Hierophant. Very similar to the High Priestess. And I'm wondering, you know, are these Luna moths, which I just learned from the Hidden Realm tarot deck today. And it looks like the similar one that the High Priestess was wearing, which is a compass. This dragon doesn't need one, I guess, but this one has jewels in the tree. And there's, you know, the key and the lock. It's very cool. I really like them. And I like that they, you know, both have the key to unlock a lot of knowledge and mysteries. And then we have the first pair, so to speak, the lovers and the devil. And we have some berries here and some flowers over there, and with smoke, because you know it's smoke, ash and embers. And all the butterflies everywhere. And we have the chariot, and this chariot, and I know other people, someone else mentioned it as well, and I think a lot of people think about that. This reminds me of the hanged one in this deck, which was like, these two are quite similar. I mean, when I saw this chariot, I was like, oh, this is the hanged one, and I was like, oh no, wait, this is the chariot, which makes sense with the wish, you know, like blowing the wish and traveling with it. But I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking about the same connection as well within the two cards. But it's quite interesting because this chariot is, I mean, okay, I was like, it's a snail, so it's slower, but no way. This one is, you know, traveling by bird, so it's obviously a fast one. And here we have stars, and here we don't have stars, which is quite interesting. I really am curious why the stars are present or why not. You know, if there was just aesthetic reasons or if there was a more meaningful one. I mean, if we can get together with Adam finally and technology will aid us in a conversation, then I'm gonna ask him. If I forgot, please remind me. But look at this, so cute. I mean, I think currently this is my favorite chariot card. I mean, I loved the fact that there was a snail before because I love snails. But this tiny dragon, if I could get this tiny, that's just one tiny dragon like this, I'll die happily. Okay, strength. It's very different. But you know, the message is the same. Because you're in the position of power, what do you do with it? And in here, just like here, it's not really obvious who's the one who's in power, you know, who is the one who is protecting others. Because in here, it could be the snake, you just never know. The snake could be trying to protect the bunnies from a perceived threat, and here is the mouse who's trying to protect the moths from the dragon, and the dragon is just like, hey, I just want to play. Who said I'm gonna, you know, eat you alive? We just don't know. I mean, before this card, this was my absolute favorite hermit. It's just so cute and so well represented. I mean, the card meaning for me was very well there, but give me a lantern and a dragon and I'm gonna be like, hey. So yeah, this is I think my all-time favorite hermit, but I still need to make a video where I go through all my decks, and that's gonna come. I think I'm gonna do that in my winter break, but I wanna, you know, pick favorites for each card, just because that's gonna take some time to do. But I'm really looking forward to film that one because I'm so curious. Because everything can't be coming from this deck. There's gonna be a rule against that. Just because then it's gonna be boring. But yeah, it was my absolute favorite hermit. But now this is it. Even though, you know, it's different because this one is, the light is leading the hedgehog out from the forest, you know, be back into the open, sharing the knowledge. Here's more of the stage before that, you know, acquiring knowledge and being alone with it to learn more about it. But yeah, absolute favorite dragon, so that was easy. Oh, 0 stars on each, okay. But very similar in a way that we have the 4 seasons everywhere, you know, like depicted. It's more obvious with this one. We have the more traditional cycle of life. But I wasn't thinking about it, but you know, butterflies and the change and their transitions signal the change that the Wheel of Fortune brings, the constant change, the constant movement as well. So I'm looking at it. There's no snail on this one. Would have been cool. Justice, very similar. More natural with this one, I would say, the crown. But yeah, we have the similar stones built up. You know, it's a very delicate balance. But with the justice here, there's no animals seeking justice. It's here we can actually see an audience, you know, like the frogs are here to receive judgment. With this one, there's, you know, there isn't anyone except us, because the perspective is more like we're standing in front of the wolf. Okay. And we have the hangman. And I kind of remember that it was smaller, I think because of the, you know, the dragon that kind of changed something in my head, and I thought that this was smaller. It's still so cute, and you know, it's a very, it can feel very, what's the word? When you're not in control, you know, you feel, I'm struggling with words these days, so I apologize, but vulnerable, but that's not the word that I'm looking for, but you're gonna know. So you know what, you know, just think about what I'm thinking about. And yeah, so here that because I asked Stephanie about this card, and here the dragon is actually hiding away from the rain, thinking that it's something like, you know, a bad thing because it doesn't want to get wet. But here's the squirrel is like, hey, it's not as bad. Hey, I'm even bringing you gift of some flowers because I'm brave enough, or I'm able to go out in the wild and not be afraid to get wet. So the dragon is like, oh, really? Should I change my point of view on going out in the rain? Which is really cool. Oh god, I missed working with the Oshkosh and Thorn. Okay, it feels more like it's smoke and ash in the... Yeah, we know ash coming with the smoke, not stars. But yeah, we have butterflies or moths, I don't even know. And with this one, it's not as obvious, I think, because we have the, you know, this dragon, because the eyes are white, it kind of looks like an old one and someone who's ready to die, but in a more peaceful way. And there's already new life, you know, growing. I don't really see that with the bunny. Or hair, that's how I say it. But you know, that's just, I'm much more concentrated on this deck currently, but I really like the cardstock, jeez, I just do. Okay, Temperance. And I always think about it, you know, how everyone's like, oh, swans are so pretty, but my most vivid image is, you know, what I talked about in the original walkthrough, is how when the swan was trying to attack my brother and he was like sprinting out of the lake and everyone was just staring at it because my brother was trying to, you know, run in water, and the swan was coming behind him trying to catch him. It was just so freaking scary. And I'm assuming, you know, that my brother, you know, came way too close and the animal took it as danger. But just sitting outside on the beach or the bank, and no, the bank, riverside bank, beach, and just looking at that scene is just, that was scary. So that's my, you know, association with swans, the fierce protection, not the Oh, they are so beautiful. But you know, there's a balance between everything, and you know, in this one as well, there's a balance of beauty and, I guess, viciousness in a way. And the water is on both of them are stormy, or you know, not calm. Which is very interesting because I don't really know why. Because how I read temperance is it's a slow positive change. Just like how rivers change their course or their course or their bank, you know, where they flow. It's a slow change. You know, they don't change their course overnight, or if they do, you know, that's because of a tower moment. But naturally, it's a slow change that you don't even realize when it's happening necessarily. But when there's enough time passed, you look back and you realize that, hey, I made some changes and they have a big effect on life. And they are, you know, these things happen so that you can regain that balance. So I'm quite curious why the water is so turbulent. Maybe it's like that on the original one. I don't really necessarily know. No stars. With the devil, there's no hope, I guess. Similar moths. And yeah, looking at each other a bit too much, and you didn't realize that the ivy and this type of plant was trying to get you. But as soon as you realize, you can get out, which is cool. And my absolute favorite tower cards. This was my favorite one, just like with the Hermit. It's one of my, if not my favorite, then one of my favorite tower cards. Because it shows that, you know, what I love about this is, and how I read the tower is, things are, you know, falling down because the foundation is not stable enough, because you're trying to build on something that can't handle the weight, because you know, if the foundation is not solid, you can put as much whatever on top of it as you can. It's going to fall down because it's not gonna be able to handle it. So I like that, you know, the tree is growing on here, but you know, there's not enough rocks and soil that where the tree can, you know, grab hold onto, and then comes the flash, and then it poof, bye. But with this one, with the dragons, you know, living and being able to fly, it makes much more sense to hit where they would actually be affected, on top where they can, you know, they probably live. Because, you know, if the bottom starts, you know, slowly cracking or falling, they're gonna be like, just fly away, and you know, it's not as effective for them. The damage is not as big as for the you know, for the tree here. For the birds, it's working, but yeah, the lightning strikes where it's, you know, but it's neat too in a way. We have stars. We have the star ties with stars, because obviously we have one which is a different shape, because we have a much more traditional shaped star here. And I know that the fishes are here. So these fishes are here. I prefer this one because it's, you know, showing the way. But I like this one too. I mean, I'm an Aquarius. This is my card and I like both. Very similar colors. So you can actually see that this water is, you know, it could be here. You know, this place where the fishes are could be here. One of my favorite moons, the squirrel, even though I never took the time to read the guidebook yet. Why? It's because I think it's because I got along so well with the deck that I just got arrogant a bit. But I mean, I will, at some point I will. I slowed down with acquiring decks so much that now I will have time to work with what I have. And there are no snails here. Oh, because we have a lot of snails here, but we have a snake as well. But the dreaming element is quite strongly there, which a lot of moon cards doesn't depict that. The moon card is also connected to, you know, dreams and whatnot. Both sun cards are not just, you know, everything is fine and yoo-hoo, but it's more about getting out of, you know, a moon card phase of where fears are present, where the rain is falling, or where the forest is dark, into a patch where the sun is shining through and showing you where to go, that not everything is real bad. And that's what I really like in this sun. There's rain, but there's, you know, light coming through, so somewhere around there's a rainbow as well. So though in that sense these two are very similar, and I really appreciate that, because I think there's a disconnect between the moon and the sun in a traditional one, because the jump is too big. Judgment, with both of them have a cross here, a bunch of butterflies, and we have fireflies here, and the fishes. And yeah, we have stars here. We have stars, okay. Oh, okay. So I was asking about Stephanie about this bow, because I was like, why is that here? And then she said that there's one in the occasion Thorn, and I was thinking about it, and I couldn't recall, but now I see. It kind of feels like a, you know, like a little gift. And there's the orb, which looks like the word. There's his name. And yeah, this is a really good one, because I think this is the Fool, you know, also, which I never really thought about it like that before. I heard Stephanie mentioning that this phone is the one in the Fool card. So there's, you know, a cycle, and this dragon is the grown-up version of this one, which I never would have guessed, because I just see dragons and I wasn't thinking about that. And then we have the Ace of Cups, the similar type of cup, which you know, the, what is it called, the top hat, cap, what is it called, of the acorn? And this is not a, I mean, is it real or is it not? You know, maybe I have a special magical acorn tree that gives me acorns like this. You just never know. It could be real. It could be. I'm just saying. But yeah, quite similar. Getting that, you know, cup from someone else, but you have to take it and use it. And I love the colors, you know, they are so warm. Two of Cups sharing. It's quite similar, but in a good way. Yeah, again, I really like that in this Three of Cups there's rain, because it shows that, you know, with real friends, you can have fun and you can find happy moments in life, even when life is not as happy or, you know, amazing. If you have your support system, then everything is much easier, and we have rain here as well. They are just so cute, look at them. I really like the Three of Cups. I mean, just in general, the card. I think it's a very important card, and I'm just happy that both of them are, you know, depicted like that. I'm still, this squirrel, this, like, I don't care. It's still one of my favorite things. It has such an attitude. I just love it. It's really like being like, oh no, I'm having a pity party and I don't want anyone to, be a guest besides me. Even though others like, hey, but we could have an actual party where we're having fun, and you're like, nope, today is a pity party day. And this one, it's more about, at least how it looks to me, it's more about being reserved and not thinking that you could join in or accept the cup, because you're like, is it really for me? Am I really being offered this, or I'm just fooling myself? But I just like the little guy. We have the 5 of cups. We also have a butterfly here, trying to cheer the dragon up, I guess. And yeah, this is much more sad because the cups are also broken. Oh, these are two as well. I didn't realize. I mean, this is a sad one. Being in the 5 of cups is not a fun place to be. 6 of cups. It's interesting that all of them are gathering as well, not just sharing. Oh, that way, that's the 6 of Pentacles. Why do I always keep thinking about this too so closely? But yeah, with this one, maybe it's, getting ready for winter and getting prepared as well. I mean, 7 of Cups, all the options. There's no dragon. Why? I wonder why. There's a snail. There's fire. There's no fire here. Oh, 2 types of fire, I forgot. And we have the snake as well. Okay, very nice night scene with a lot of stars. And yeah, leaving all the cups. And looking ahead, looking forward to what's coming, even though it's hard to move. Hard to move on from what we're leaving behind. I think both of them are very nicely. And I think you can feel, how they are connected to each other, but they are not the same. So hopefully a side-by-side will help you decide which one you want more. Or you can see that even if you have the one of them, it doesn't matter, or doesn't mean that you can't have the other, because they are different enough. And I know this sounds like a sales speech, but I really do believe that they are different enough to be, to have both of them. And I would never give any of them away. That's for sure. So please don't make me. The 9 of Cups. I like this one because it's more, it shows how life can be hard, but if you find your own little island where you can be happy, your own little spot, things are so much easier. Then you can find rest. You can, just find your emotional center and calmness as well. With the 10 of Cups, we have a rainbow here, but I just love these little tiny squirrels. They're just so cute. But they are, obviously. These decks are cute. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. But in a gentle storybook kind of way. Page of Cups. A lot of flowers on both. Oh, okay, and similar flowers as well. But here the fish is outside of water. Here it's like, hey, come join me. Because this page feels more like, you know, it's taking care of the fish. So until, I don't know, it can go back into the water. Sharing. Didn't really realize until I started looking for the helmet that this one has a helmet as well, because it just felt like a rock when I was, you know, first looking at it. But now that I'm trying to find the similarities, I was like, okay, is there a helmet? And yep, there is a helmet. Didn't realize that. And the eyes are similar. The eyes are similar. Queen of Cups with a similar pose. No fishes here, but there are snails, you know, to take care of. With a really nice acorn. The king, they are looking at the same direction, and you know, the water is again turbulent. It's not peace and calm and whatever, but that just shows that when you're king, you need to step up and protect those who are under your protection. You know, you have to do what you have to do, even or especially when life is hard. But when you're in the king energy, you can do that without hurting other people. So I really like that. These are just, you know, extra things that I didn't know I liked in cards, but now I do. Ace of Pentacles with the turtle. Slow progress. Here the flowers blooming and giving you the option or an opportunity with the pentacle. Both of them are that parent sort of way, the way they look. They're actual parents. Oh, look at that one's cute. And both of them have bunnies, so it could be the same family even. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's 5, so the family grew. 3 of Pentacles. I like this one, but I think this is much more brilliantly depicted, you know, because you have to work together to raise these eggs or for them to hatch. Because here they are just kind of looking at the pentacles. It looks, sometimes I think that they look like they are, you know, at an exhibition and they're like, oh yeah, this is my favorite because of how the light is shining on it. I know, you don't have to tell me I'm an idiot sometimes, but hey, if I'm not an idiot, then what the fuck, sorry, what's the point? 4 of Pentacles. This is much more in the calm and collected, I know what I'm doing with my time, energy, and money, sort of a card. This is more in the I'm still learning to not really pay too much attention what's in front of me and not, you know, taking stock at what I actually have. But they both have, you know, there's a lot of roses here and there's strawberries here, so, and bees. Strawberries, okay, that's all. 5 of Pentacles. Both of them are injured. And you know, when your health is not full, it doesn't really matter how much money you have. If you're not talking about, you know, what you can buy as a treatment for it, but you know, wealth on its own, when you're not in a shape to enjoy it, it's kind of useless, because it would be so much nicer for both of them to have someone who would take care of them and help them getting better. It can be a very lonely feeling. A lot of old people experience that. Six of Pentacles. Kind of similar, but you know, in a good way again. If it's ain't broken, why fix it? Sharing is caring. This 7 little pentacle bunny is sleeping because it knows that it did everything that needed to be done. Same for the dragon. And I like the extra touch of the spider web because that takes time to, you know, build. Yeah, build. Sentences. Words. 8 of Pentacles. And now I know that this dragon is not actually slowly crawling up to the pentacle, but, you know, digging it up. And this bunny is kind of like, you know, collecting all the ones from, because money can grow on trees. Wish. It seems it can, so. 9 of Pentacles. A lot of butterflies. And the snail. But we have a robin here. But this is a nice place to be. And you know, I like how the sun is shining through because it's showing that, you know, you worked for it. It didn't just fall into your lap. 10 of Pentacles. This is the family portrait that you send out for holidays. This is much more, you know, we capture the moment in life. And we have the pages. Both of them are trying to balance that pentacle. Interesting, we have the flower there. I don't think I looked why the flower is there, to be honest. But a lot of abundance, you know. The Knight. I think both of them are, I mean, in both decks. Even though, no, I found the previous Knight's helmet, so that's not true. But you know, the Nine of Pentacles in this deck, I think, looks the most knightish. And interestingly, I don't really see this card often, but I saw this one already quite a few times when I was doing readings. Kind of want to make an effort to note which card I'm getting next year. For a year, I want to, you know, see which are the recurring cards in readings. Queen of Pentacles. Bunnies. Different, but you know, they are both really nice. And the King of Pentacles, both of them are very stable. They know what they're doing. You can see that you can't bullshit them. And we both have, you know, the carvings of a bull, a Taurus. Here. And then we have the Ace of Wands. It's a quite similar one. There's more flowers here and, you know, all the birds. But we have, I think this is the same fox as, you know, this one. It pretty much looks like the birds, you know, flew off and then suddenly there's a dragon. Even though, you know, there are mushrooms here, but knowing how there are some cheeky connections like that in the two, between the two decks, I'm gonna say that the foxes are the same one. Two of Wands. A lot of mushrooms. It kind of getting that feeling that this fox gave the wand, you know, to the dragon to carry. I really like this tree. Isn't it beautiful? The tree, both of them have that clean look to it. And I like that, you know, this one has some fire. But yeah, the road awaits. First step taken, journey embarking, you know, starting the journey, embarking on it. Four of Wands. Yeah, the oak, ash, and thorn has that more of a steel. It has a more steel. It has more. Okay, this sentence doesn't make any sense. Has more stillness to it. That's what I'm trying to say. With the dragons, obviously, the smoke, ash, and embers has much more movement. These dragons are so freaking cute. Ladybugs here, no ladybugs there, but I mean, we don't see them. So I'm kind of getting a bit older energy from the oak, ash, and thorn, and the smoke, ash, and embers has that youthful energy to it. Even though here in these two cards we have young, you know, younglings, youngsters playing around, but still, you know, there's a lot of fire and smoke with this one. The ones are my second favorite suit in this. Six of Wands. Oh, I just love how it's like, yay, butterflies. Even though this dragon, you know, is sitting here being celebrated, being admired, the dragon is like, oh, but there are others who I can look up to. With this fox, I kind of getting more of the, okay, I know I did something, but can we get back to work? There's so much more to do. And both of them are good. Because this is just, you know, a stage. It's not the final destination. Seven of Wands. Much fiercer, but, you know, you can't really cross either of them. Oh, there's a snail. There are some snails. And these snails are, hey, go away. This is not a place to be. I love this Eight of Wands. I love this one too. It's beautiful. But it's, you know, kind of interesting in that, you know, how these wands are forming something together. Because how I read the Eight of Wands, I like this one more because it depicts that when everything is coming at you all at once, it can feel overwhelming. In this one, I feel more of the fox is more of a spectacle, you know, spectator of whatever is happening over there. But there could be an explanation in the book that I haven't read, so just take that in, you know, into consideration, that sometimes I'm just talking out of my other body parts. It's a very typical Nine of Wands. Both work. And yeah, a lot of fun place to be. Ten of Wands. Very interesting because this one is, it's feeling more like you realize that you're carrying too much and you're like, you know what, I don't care, I need to take a break. So you're doing what you're supposed to do with the 10 Wands. Here it's still, and this one is the other side of the card when you realize that Yes, these 10 wands are heavy, but these are my responsibilities. I need to take care of them. And that's both how I read the cards. So they have one side very clearly for me. I mean, I can read it both ways, but you know, if I just, you know, put them together, then this is my 10 of wands. We have, okay, oops. We have the page of wands with the same stuff. Looking up, because you need to learn. And we have the Knight of Wands. And I like that, you know, this text is lighter to match the sky. Because, you know, I think all of them are, you know, they're not just black, but they are shade of color. Like this is brown and this is green. And, you know, these are small things, but they just add to the deck. We have a wasp, I would say. We have butterfly here. It could be just, I mean, it could be a bee, but it kind of looks like a sheep. I mean, if you look at the, I don't know if you can look at the head, it kind of looks like a bee sheep. Sheep bee? Is that a thing? Sheep bee? Bee sheep? Which one I prefer? I don't know. But this dragon feels more like a knight. Even though I know there's, you know, this thing that the other one was wearing as well. Because of that, it kind of feels more like a knight. But, you know, I'm biased AF, I'm not gonna lie. I like both of them. I like this one for the sunflower, you know, and how she's the look at me, I'm so beautiful and everything. Which, who, you know, Queen of Wands is that. But I just like that there's a little fox here. Because even though, I mean, she's elegant and she's beautiful, but she's gonna protect the baby as well, so. Both of them are fierce queens. Which I never, you know, I've never been a Queen of Wands. It's not something that I ever was, or I don't think I will ever be. Because I mean, much more in the swords. I live my life there. King of Wands. Protecting the kingdom again. And I like how, you know, putting them next to each other, it's much more obvious to me what the cards are trying to say. At least that's, you know, how my mind works. And my favorite suit. I like, and this one was my favorite, the color-wise as well. I mean, but the black dragons here are just amazing. And it's the same one, I think, even though the crown is different, but I think this raven is the king from this one. Let's check, you know. This one is here. So you can look at this, that because they are sister decks, that this raven is teaching that dragon, because this raven or crow raven went through everything already in the suit, and now it's ready to give an opportunity, give a chance to this dragon to learn the same thing. You know, cycles and spirals and whatnot, which is really cool. Two of Swords, quite different, because this is a much more peaceful place to not really be bothered to make that decision, to be honest. Here you have to, because the water is already at your feet and you really need to make a decision where to go. So like I said, there could be different meanings. Oh, you know what? Let's put this back here and check what the cards say. I forgot to do that. Where are the swords? Okay, so for this one, the swords, the Two of Swords is avoidance and solitude. And for this one is retreat. Yeah, retreat and crossroads. I'm getting more of the avoidance. I'm trying to avoid making that decision, even though, you know, the water is already at my feet, so I kind of have to. And here is more of a, I'm gonna just, you know, retreat and take my time and make this decision when I'm ready. Because sometimes you don't have to rush this decision that comes up with the Two of Swords. It's not always a hey, hey, hey type of decision. These black dragons. I think the sadness and the loss is there, and you know, you can do that without actually piercing a heart. I think we get it. Even though, you know, it definitely builds on the traditional illustration. But, you know, we have those tiny wishes going up. Let's hope for a better, you know, outcome or for a better future. Okay, Four of Swords. Both of them are, you know, hiding in the trees. And I'm assuming this bird is already, you know, here as well. You know, there's a connection. Or I'm making that one up. Could be. Five of Swords, very similar, as in looking at others and staying behind because, you know, you have all the swords and you can't really carry them, but you were not ready to share. And now you just watch others fly away. The Six of Swords. And if you're still watching, then thank you. And I'm going to share you with something that was my last week. This card went missing. And when I say went missing, I mean I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm not someone who loses cards or anything pretty much. I'm very careful with my stuff, and especially with something like this deck. So I was freaking out. And I kind of think that someone took it for some reason. And it was funny that, you know, it's the Six of Swords, which is finally deciding to move away from something that's not working for you anymore. And I was like, thank you, card. And, you know, I asked Lenormand, where is the card? And I did a few polls and all of them was the same. It's in a box. It's, you know, pretty much it was like it's in one of the tarot boxes, because that was my guess. After I was like, okay, but I couldn't, you know, accidentally throw it away or throw it out. Because when I do the pick a card readings, that was my guess, that, you know, I accidentally put it in a different box. So I went through all the boxes. I couldn't find it. And then my sister came in and helped me, and she went through all the boxes, all the cards. She couldn't find it. Today I sat down to do and film another pick a card, and I was shuffling the Star Dragon deck, and my latest Lenormand pull was book, man, and coffin. So it was, you know, the book can mean not just the book but the cards as well. So that was tarot cards, something that belongs to a man or a masculine. So I was like, okay, it's a deck that was made by a man. And the coffin as in a box. And the Star Dragon was made by a man. But when I took the cards out of the box and I shoved, you know, they were in my hand. It's not a thick deck. It's just like this, you know, like 1 centimeter thick. Only like 30 cards. I didn't see the card anywhere. I started shuffling, and I'm not lying, but I shuffled like 6 times, and suddenly the card fell out, and I can't explain it any other way. It felt like it fell out of nothing, or, you know, from a liminal space from a different realm. I don't know. I know that you can just say that, hey, it was there and I didn't realize, but the deck was in my hand. I was shuffling, and when it fell out, it felt like magic. So I don't know. I asked the Fae to help me find it, because at first I thought that they took it away to use it, and I was like, I offered my crystal for it, and they didn't want it. They didn't took it away. So I asked them that if they can help me get it back, then please do that. And then I did the Lenormand, and then I did the reading and find the card, and no one's gonna convince me that that card was in that deck, because we went through it twice, and how it fell out, it was just, like I said, it was like magic. So if you're here, that was my experience for today with this card. So I really love both of them, and now this is gonna be a very special card for me. Okay, Seven of Swords, very, very similar, even though this Raven is much more in the still very hyped up, and I'm gonna do something state. This dragon is much more in the I'm gonna make a plan and execute it. And I'm assuming this bird is this one, so maybe this dragon stole all the swords from this one, which like stealing from thief. Okay, Eight of Swords. This one feels much more not serious, because both of them are, even though the danger is all in our head, it doesn't make it any less real, especially experiencing it. But it still feels more serious in this one. Maybe because because the swords are pointing at the dragon. So just one wrong move and you can get pierced. With this one, it's much more. There's bigger room to get out of the situation. But I think it's because of that difference between the two decks. That one is much more active, and the one is much more still. Nine of Swords. This kind of looks like that. The Eight of Swords and the Knight. And we have the Ten of Swords with this. There are two Ten of Swords in this one because there was an extra card for the dragon deck in the Occasion Thorn, which I didn't realize back then. And this is the more serious one. There's blood, and the dragon is obviously hurt and it's gonna die. And I'm not using this because for me this depicts the Ten of Swords, the defeat, the hopelessness much more. Even I just can't handle dragons being killed. I can handle people killed easily. Do whatever you want to do with that information. But yeah, this is a serious card. This is, sometimes I read this one as death, actual literal death, depression, being in that very, very dark place. So I can't, I don't like nice washing this card and being like, oh, this is just an ending and everything is gonna be better afterwards. Yes, it's gonna be most of the time, but not always. And even if it's gonna get better, it's not gonna be an easy thing to get out of the Ten of Swords. And maybe because I spent some time in that hole that is the Ten of Swords, quite a sufficient time, to be honest. This was a place I lived for years. Maybe that's why I'm getting really worked up and people are like, oh, it's not as serious as it is, because you have to have the serious cards in the deck as well, because life has those moments. And if you're pretending they are not there, it doesn't mean that they're not there. But you know, it's completely just my thing, and I appreciate and accept that. And it's not like I wish everybody would, you know, experience something like I did. I obviously don't. I just think that unfortunately most of us will. Page of Swords. It kind of looks like this dragon has feathers as well. But yeah, they are kind of in a similar place. I mean, especially with the, you know, the flying birds, they could very well be in the same, next to the forest where the Oak Ash and Thorn lives. The Knight of Swords, both of them are very knighty, ready to kind of, you know, ready to get into action. Guess which one I prefer. We're not playing the which one I prefer, because that's an easy game, and you know, not, you know, there's no point to playing it. The Queen, I'm just looking at the swords, but they are different. Then we have some birds here who came to, you know, ask help or advice from the Queen. We have that with the butterflies. And the last one is a dragon with the butterflies who are here. And like I said, I think this one is in the Ace of Swords, so if there's gonna be a new deck at some point, maybe, hopefully, because I don't think it's gonna be in the Oracle deck which is coming, but if there's gonna be a deck, it could be that this dragon is gonna be in the Ace of Swords. That would be so cool. You know, there's continuation between all the decks. But yeah, if not, we're gonna see. But yeah, this was my side by side. I hope it was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you saw something that you didn't be previously. And even though the pre-order is, you know, done for the Smoke, Ash and Embers deck, there's gonna be extra decks. I think that's what Stephanie said in her live stream with Jonathan. They were doing one for the last hour when the pre-order was, you know, just finishing. And that was when I was frantically searching for my Six of Swords. Fun times. But she said that there's gonna be extra decks, so if you missed out on the pre-order, you're still gonna have a chance to get the deck from this first run. And I'm hoping and I'm assuming that it's gonna be successful enough to have a second print just like the Oak, Ash and Thorn, but you just never know. So if you like the deck and you don't want to miss out on it, and obviously you can buy it, I would suggest you subscribe to the newsletter in the 3-3-3-3s tarot. I never know how to say that. 3 trees tarot website, so you can get, you know, an update about it. But I pretty much, you know, if you follow Stephanie or the official account on Instagram, you're gonna see the updates, and I'm gonna spam everything with it on social media as well, because, you know, that's just me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hope this was useful, and see you in the next one. Bye.